Have you ever felt like your team's projects are kind of like a puzzle with a bunch of missing pieces? You've got emails over here, chat messages way over there, and those spreadsheets, well, who knows where they are? Today, we're going to put that puzzle together. Let's dive into Asana, a platform that's designed to bring all those scattered pieces into one single, clear picture.
This quote from Marquise Murray, an Asana partner, it nails a feeling we all know way too well, right? Work is happening everywhere, all at once. Important files get totally buried in chat threads, key decisions are lost in endless email chains, and just figuring out who's doing what can feel like a full-time job. Honestly, it's a recipe for burnout, and it's exhausting.
So here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to look at the real cost of all this disorganization. Then, we'll see exactly how Asana can act as a central command center for all of it. We'll even build a project from scratch, learn how to visualize our work, and see how teams collaborate. All of which leads to that final, beautiful shift from total chaos to absolute clarity.
Okay, let's start with the core problem here. You see, it's not always the work itself that's the issue, it's the work about work. And that's all the time you spend just hunting for information, sitting in status update meetings, and trying to coordinate everything instead of, actually doing the work.
Just think about it for a second. The old way. Well, your files live in one place, like Dropbox or Google Drive. And all your conversations about those files are happening somewhere else entirely, like in Slack or your email. It creates this huge disconnect. What Asana is all about is creating a single source of truth. One place where the plan, the files, the communication, and the progress all live together.
So how do we bridge that gap? Well, this is where Asana comes into the picture. It's designed to be the solution to this fragmentation, your central command center for all things work.
At its very core, Asana is what you call a work management platform. And it's not just another to-do list or a chat app, not at all. It's an entire ecosystem that's designed to orchestrate everything your team does, connecting the tiniest daily tasks all the way up to your company's biggest, most ambitious goals.
Asana's whole philosophy really boils down to the simple but super powerful cycle. First, you capture all the work, every idea, every request, every action item. Next, you organize it, creating a crystal clear plan so everyone knows who is doing what and by when. And finally, you track it, watching progress happen in real time, which then feeds right back into the whole cycle.
All right, that all sounds great in theory, right? But how does it actually work in practice? Let's get our hands dirty and build our very first project, turning a simple idea into a concrete, actionable plan.
Getting started is incredibly intuitive. First, you create a project for your big initiative. Then you break it down with sections, which kind of act like chapters in a book. Think planning, design, launch. Inside those sections, you add your tasks, those are the individual steps, and your milestones, which are the major checkpoints. But the real magic, that happens in step 4.
And this right here, this is absolutely crucial. For any task to actually move forward, it needs 2 things: one single owner and a clear due date. Now, this isn't about micromanagement, it's about clarity. It just removes all the ambiguity and creates a culture of accountability where everyone knows what they're responsible for. It stops things from falling through the cracks.
Now, one of the most powerful aspects of Asana is that it gets that not everyone thinks or works the same way. The exact same project can be viewed from completely different angles to suit different people and different needs.
This is where Asana's flexibility really shines. So, for example, a marketing manager planning a campaign might start out in the list view, just brainstorming every single task. Then, they could flip over to the board view to track social media posts moving from to-do to in progress to published. A creative director might live in the calendar view just to see all the deadlines, while the project manager uses the timeline view to see how it all fits together. It's the same data, just seen from different perspectives. So let's zoom in on that timeline view for a second, because this is where you can create dependencies. You can literally draw a line connecting 2 tasks, telling Asana, hey, we can't start designing the ad creative until the copy is approved. This is a total game changer for complex projects because it prevents bottlenecks and makes sure work always happens in the correct sequence. No more starting a task only to realize you're waiting on something else.
Okay, so we've planned the work, but now we have to actually do it together. This next part is all about how Asana keeps your entire team in sync without needing to have constant meetings.
This is how you escape those endless, messy email and chat threads. Inside the app, every single task has its own conversation thread. You can @mention a designer to get feedback on a draft, and that entire conversation is forever linked to that specific task. Project managers can give high-level status updates like on track, at risk, off track, so leadership knows the project's health with just a glance. And your personal inbox becomes your mission control, showing you only the updates that are relevant to your work.
And here's the thing. Asana doesn't live on an island. It becomes a true work hub because it connects with all the tools you're already using. We're talking over 260 integrations. It talks to everything from Slack and Google Workspace to Zoom and Figma, pulling information from all over your tech stack into one central place.
So after putting all of this into practice, what's the result? Well, it's a fundamental shift in how work gets done. It's the move from reactive chaos to proactive clarity.
This before and after transformation, this is the whole point. The questions on the left, that's the sound of work about work. But with Asana, the answers are right there. The file, it's attached to the task. The owner, clearly listed. The project status, it's visible to everyone in real time. And those endless status meetings, they become quick, asynchronous updates.
Ultimately, it all comes down to these key benefits. It makes cross-functional teamwork possible by breaking down those departmental silos. It enables asynchronous work, which is so critical for global and remote teams. It connects distributed teams by giving them a shared space to work from. And maybe most importantly, it creates that elusive single source of truth for all of your work.
If you take away just one thing from this explainer, let it be this. Asana isn't just a place to store files, and it's not just a place to chat. It is the bridge that connects the things we work on with the conversations we have about them. It gives context and clarity to absolutely everything. And that brings us to our final thought. Take a moment and just ask yourself, right now, where is your team's single source of truth? If you can't answer that question instantly, well, it might be time to start building one.